Okay, we're going to do one more graph here in this section, and we're going to graph the equation y equals negative absolute value of x. So, and then it says for the graphing purposes, we'll create a table of ordered pairs or points by choosing integer x values from -3 to 3, similar to the previous graph that we did. So I'm going to put the x value here in the y value column, and I have to put that. So here is where we're going to put our table. So I'll do -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what would the y value be with x equaling -3? Well, it would be y equals negative. I'm going to replace x with -3. So just think of it as erasing the letter x and replacing it with -3. And what's that equal to? That's -3, because the absolute values make the -3 positive. So that's +3, but then this negative sign here makes it a -3. So my ordered pair would be -3, -3. Oops, didn't mean to mark through that. This will be the point that I'm going to plot. -3, -3. All right, the second one. X is -2. Well, similarly, -2 is going to be, well, if you take the absolute value of -2, you get 2, and then this negative sign turns it into -2. So -2, -2. And -1, you might guess very simply, that's going to give us a -1. So -1, -1. 0, well, the absolute value of 0 is 0. And if you put a negative sign in front of 0, you still get 0. So that'll just be the origin. 1 is going to be what? Well, that's going to be the same as when we plugged in a -1. Because if you plug in a 1 or -1 into absolute values, you get the same value back. It's a +1. And then you have a negative sign in front of the absolute values, so that's going to give us a -1. So 1, -1. Similarly, 2, if you put 2 in absolute values, you get 2, and then the negative sign makes it a -2. So 2, -2. Last point is 3. That's -3. So 3, -3. So that's our 7 points to plot. -3, -3 is the first one, so I have to go left 3, down 3. And then we had a -2, -2, -1, -1, and then we had 0, 0. So I plotted -3, -3, -2, -2, -1, -1, 0, 0. Now I have to do 1, -1, 2, -2, and 3, -3. So 1, -1, 2, -2, 3, -3 puts me right here. So if we were going to use the point plotting method to graph this equation, I would do this. I'm going to continue the pattern. I know what it looks like. I'll take it all the way down to the end, and I'll put an arrow there because it goes on infinitely in that direction. Remember, I could have plotted 4, -4, 5, -5, and it never stops. So this extends infinitely as well in this direction. So this is the graph y equals negative absolute value of x. You may remember the absolute value of x. If I didn't put the negative sign in front of that, it would have looked like a V going this way, here and here. The negative sign flipped it upside down.